IMF warned in a report this week that the advice for imposition of conditions on Curaçao will cause major damage to the economy and put the goal of restoring public finances further out of reach. The article also goes on to say St. Martin too is under CFT spectrum. It is with that in mind that Westcott Williams has sounded her own alarm. A rather conservative institution like the IMF criticizing the working of the CFT in such a firm manner, especially the position of these conditions that, if not followed voluntarily, can impose via an instruction, calls for the situation with the CFT to need be carefully evaluated and looked at, Westcott Williams said on Wednesday. And I would go on with one more paragraph. It behooves us, St. Martin's Parliament and government, to carefully analyze the statement and comments coming from the IMF regarding Curaçao and its financial management. St. Martin needs to take this ball and make it a point of discussion. And I agree wholeheartedly. And this is just a few of the paragraphs in this article. So through you, Mr. Chairman, my few questions to the Minister is as follows. Do you agree, Minister, with the position of the IMF that they took in regards to Curaçao? Now, Mr. Chairman, I would understand that one minister or one would say the politics in Curaçao belongs to Curaçao and what is St. Martin should belong here in St. Martin. However, we are sister countries and we are governed by same laws, and the CFT is also a reality of both countries, both islands, similar economies. So I'm asking the minister, do you agree with the position that the IMF took in regards to the CFT in Curaçao and their economy? The reason why I'm asking that, Mr. Chairman, is because right here in St. Martin, the same type of heavy-handed way that the CFT is coming down on Curaçao in relation to why the IMF makes such statements can be plausibly same thing here in St. Martin. So to add on to that question in Curaçao, I am saying, don't you agree with the position of the IMF, Honorable Minister, in regards to a similar position here in St. Martin? Second to that, I would also like to ask the Honorable Minister, through you, Chair, should the CFT be evaluated? Should the CFT be evaluated? And if no, why you think it should not be? And if yes, can you give reasons why you think the CFT should be evaluated? Also, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask the Honorable Minister, should the structure of the CFT be changed? And if yes, in your opinion, Honorable Minister, change to what type of structure, if you believe it should be changed? And if no, you don't believe that the structure of the CFT should be changed, can you give a reason why you think it should not be changed? Also, my colleague Rolando Bryson made mention concerning the debt. I would like to further go down to where the Honorable Member of Parliament that wrote the article says, the CFT is governed by a kingdom law and was birthed from conditions agreed to at the dissolution of the Netherlands Antilles. The Netherlands agreed to clear the hefty debt of the Antilles in return for temporary kingdom supervision of Curaçao and St. Martin. Now, I remember this vividly. Why I remember this vividly? Because at that time, Island Council woman Gracita Arundel had pounded this issue by saying, why should we be taken up in terms of having financial supervision when St. Martin can't or couldn't have borrowed being part of the Netherlands Antilles? And I believe that the Member of Parliament that wrote the article also made mention similarly to it, where she goes on and said that St. Martin got out the debt relief was negligible because St. Martin's portion of the debt was practically nil. As an island territory prior to October 10, 2010, St. Martin could not contract loans on the capital market. So in other words, St. Martin couldn't have borrowed, being an island territory, part of the Netherlands Antilles. So if we could not have borrowed back then, but yet we are still under the austerity, or we are still under the control, or we are still under the watchful eye of the CFT, my next question would be to the Honorable Minister through you. Don't you think, Honorable Minister, that the position and conditions that is laid down from the CFT to St. Martin are really, really overreaching? Don't you think they're overreaching?
There is no such thing as the IMF stepping in. That's ludicrous. The role of the IMF, I can say, and yes, I know of complaints internationally about involvement of IMF in financial reconstruction of countries. But the IMF has been, since Irma, very supportive of St. Martin, very supportive of this Ministry of Finance, where it concerns the plans that I have to better the finances of this country. They render their support also not only now but in the future in rolling out the tax reforms plan, the plans at the Public Finance Management. We became member of CARTAC, that is a sister organization from the IMF that renders technical support in the field of financing. The only thing I can say that they have been very supportive. Secondly, we do not borrow any money from the IMF, and if you research, the IMF deals with countries, independent countries, and where it concerns borrowing money from them, and then you get the conditions that they will have. So no such thing. The IMF has always been, since Irma, very supportive in advising, in helping out in the direction that I have, the vision that I've put forward for the Ministry of Finance and Country St. Martin. So no, there is no such thing. I don't know where that comes from. As a matter of fact, the IMF, in their Article 4 report of June of this year, they even made mention of some reservations they had with the role of the CFT advising towards the situation in Curacao. So they try to be helpful, and that's all it is to it. There's no such thing as stepping in. The only people in charge in this country is Parliament and the government of St. Martin. So no, I can really tell you there's no such thing.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
You deserve it, my hallelujah. My hallelujah belongs to you. Sing it, everyone. Sing it. Let me hear you from the bottom of our hearts. My hallelujah belongs to you. Oh, my hallelujah. My hallelujah belongs to you. Oh, my hallelujah. My hallelujah belongs to you. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve.
In the press conference of last week, we made a statement that the LOE signed with SZV for 4 years after the Kingdom instruction to government of St. Martin was a publicity stunt of Minister of Finance. Well, this week Monday we were accused by the Minister of Finance, Mr. Perry Halings, that we, and I would quote, the Consumers Coalition is incorrect and this is a form of cheap politics. Furthermore, Minister Halings ended his press release on Monday stating that we, quote, and I'll quote, you have to know your facts and figures before you point fingers. Well, we thank the minister for this reaction. He gave some details of what he has done so far with all the payment arrear government has with entities in St. Martin. We do not agree with the minister that we were incorrect. We also maintain that we have spoken based on facts and we pointed to government as well as to SZV that both have to get their figures right. We have stated that rather than a letter of intent, the signing has to be a settlement agreement to pay all the arrears with SZV. The minister himself explained in his press release that we were correct. There is still no payment agreement signed with SZV. So we quote his own words, and I will quote, to have at least an idea of the total amount due to SZV and as a preliminary basis for further negotiation about how to repay this large amount, a letter of intent was signed with clear stipulations what work still needs to be done. But nowhere he mentioned that he signed a payment agreement with SZV. So I end the quote. The ministry used a lot of text in his press release to inform and explain about payment arrangements signed with Tilem, a 50% payment done to the General Pension Fund, APS, and a payment arrangement soon to be signed with APS. But nowhere in the press release we could find or we could read that the Minister of Finance had signed a payment arrangement with SZV. In a meeting we had on Wednesday with management of SZV, we got confirmation that there is still no payment arrangement signed with government. In other words, the Consumers Coalition has its fact right and straight. It was a fact that Minister Halings gave publicity to a letter of intent with the SZV. Not we, the Consumers Coalition. The Consumers Coalition was correct. The Consumers Coalition did not play cheap politics.
SFA management started a dialogue with the Consumers Coalition. Well, after our press statement about the letter of intent signed with SFV and our concerns expressed about the financial figures presented by SFV so far in annual accounts, which still none of them since 10-10-10 have not received an approval from the independent accountant SOEB. We were called by the director of SZV, Mr. Glenn Carty, to have a meeting with management of SZV about our press statement and our concerns. This meeting was held yesterday, Wednesday. The meeting developed in a positive atmosphere. We, the co-coordinators of the St. Martin Consumers Coalition, were received by the CEO of SZV, Mr. Carty, and the CFO, Financial Officer of SZV, Mr. Felici. We complained that online the combined annual accounts of 2015 till 2017 were provided, but that the annual accounts were not available online for us to do our analysis on the figures of SZV. As a result, management of SZV decided to provide us with the annual accounts of 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018 during the meeting, so that we can better prepare the questions we might have to be addressed with SZV management in the next meeting. We also discussed with SZV management our point of departure. USZV, the Social and Health Insurances Bank, is legislated by government to manage our premium monies and to guarantee us and our family members with services needed. Services such as pension payments, such as healthcare payments, such as referrals, etc. We explained that employers pay their contribution based on the productivity of the workers. So in fact, we the workers in the population are the owners of the funds that SZV has to manage. We complained about the fact that we as representatives of the grassroots consumer organizations who have provided the premium monies to SZV still want the services from SZV to improve. Furthermore, we want SZV to give us account of how our premium monies are being spent, which is a public obligation, by presenting correct annual accounts. We illustrated that the healthcare funds accounts which are being presented have to be presented in such a way that a clear distinction can be made in healthcare costs paid according to legal stipulations and healthcare costs paid without a legal stipulation.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Hello, St. Martin. My name is Jose Helga and I play basketball. I have organized basketball events in St. Martin. Sport matters to me because it makes everybody come together in unity. So I challenge the businesses community to step up for sports and help us rebuild and repair our facility. I'm also asking the community to nominate local businesses in your area to take on the challenge and step up for sport because sports matter. Check out the Department of Sports SXM Facebook page for more information. #Sport Matter, #Are you in?
How are you doing this morning? Good. So Rebecca, thank you for coming. I work as a psychologist at the Mental Health Foundation. I mainly see children and adolescents, but I also see adults. So whenever there's a crowd, that's when you're starting to feel
nervous,
okay,
nauseous.
Okay, it is kind of like your body. We are so used to taking care of our body. If we have a little ache in our foot, we know to rest it. We know, okay, I might have walked too much, so I need to rest. Now, of course, that can be just an ache in my foot, but I can also break my leg. Now, for breaking my leg, I would have to go to the doctor. So that kind of goes the same for mental health illnesses. So you can come in for something little as, I'm really stressed out lately. What would you need? A little bit of rest. But someone can also come in with way more difficulties. We're not here to judge right or wrong, good or bad. Is it helpful for you? Fine. Is it not helpful for you? Okay, then let's see what we can do about it. But not a wrong nor right, absolutely not. It's a magnifying glass without judgment.
Well, there's still a lot of stigma on the island, unfortunately. It's not a topic that people easily talk about, and that's a shame. They're afraid that they get judged, and there is still quite a bit of judgment. I mean, often we hear, don't go to that crazy house. Once you go in, you never go back. And it's just not true, We treat a lot of patients here, and a lot of them, we get back on their feet.
Our goal at the Mental Health Foundation is for us to help you improve your life, for you to live a better, happier, and fuller life.
In relation to one of the points that Michelle mentioned in her closing, which is the cruise passengers. So we will be closing this year, 2019, with over 1.6 million passengers, and we have a projected closing for 2020 at 1.4 million passengers. This speaks to a 7% decrease in cruise calls and a 10% decrease in passengers. The port will be embarking on investments which we are able to fund with our own cash flow, investments such as repairs to the Ro-Ro dock, repairs to the inter-island section, new home porting, building the permanent structure with expansion on the current structure, Pier 1 repairs and strengthening, experience improvements on the cruise terminal such as the Fluitschip, Salt Pond, and greener, more green-friendly elements to the harbor. This speaks to one of the points that Michelle also mentioned, which is the guest passenger experience and improving on this, incorporating more heritage experiences because these things are unique to our destination. Regarding the RFP, RFQ process that's currently in the media as well, we can speak to that as port. We are currently in the process of finding the person that will be leading the project group for this process, and this is scheduled to be finalized around the 18th of October. So at this point, we'll have the person that will be leading the project group, and the whole process will take a total of about 6 months in order to finalize the RFP to present to the various stakeholders. And as we're strapped for time, I'll just close by saying that St. Martin's commitment to the cruise industry and FCCA, we have a forever strong relationship with FCCA and the industry, and we have great synergy, and we will continue to maintain a sound relationship with FCCA and the partners.
St. Martin has been leading in the cruise destination and cargo hub in the region for several years, and this is experienced and evidenced with the fact that it's hosted 1.7 million cruise passengers pre-Irma and 110 20-foot equivalent unit of cargo. We have all been aware that cruise and cargo facilities were impacted by the hurricanes of 2017, and it puts us in a position where we find it very hard to continue and to compete and lead in the cruise and cargo industry regionally and internationally, why we need major investment. For this reason, the port management, as outlined just a few moments ago, highlighted the very transparent and very open bidding process, very popularly known now as the RFP, the request for proposal strategy, and of course for the upgrading of boat facilities. As mentioned, the cruise industry and the lines internationally in particular predicts a 6% increase in people taking a cruise in 2019 and 2020, and St. Martin will indeed benefit from this growth. We will at least see one ship in port every day of the year. That would be the ideal. And it is time to have year-round cruise ships. As Minister in charge of Tourism and Economic Affairs, I have intended to listen and continue to hear the expressed voices heard by our people in the industry, as well as the cruise industry in general, and our partners who have ensured that our island-wide training, which took place, which was the Aquila training program with local content, saw over 400 frontline workers in the cruise and tourism industry and hospitality industry in general be trained. We recently also had another 80 plus from interval training that had another 80 plus persons that also were trained in the hospitality industry. That shows St. Martin's commitment to again be #1 in the region and around the world in the cruise industry. That is our expectation, that is our goal. In fact, just recently, that training, they received their certificates from the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association Foundation. Indeed, an effort that was heavily applauded by this ministry.